Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to another edition of DIY Money.
DIY Money.
This episode on YouTube.
Let's go.
I mean, we're not that consistent, though. We've got to get better.
Yeah. Well,
about
now people are back in town and we have things. And now we can get into a rhythm, and your son is currently cutting this episode.
He is cutting the episode. Joshua is over there in the corner working the buttons. I'm not quite sure what goes on there, but it's magic.
It is magic.
And it's on YouTube. Hit us up at DIY Money Podcast on YouTube if you want to see our beautiful faces. First couple of things, housekeeping, and then we'll kick it around a little bit. 1,000th episode on December 28th. I'm
That's
jazzed.
really impressive.
Here's what we're going to do, too. Way back in the day when I used to do Fast Money at CNBC, on the final episode that usually sometimes even aired the 31st, it was tuxedos.
Nice.
So I think we should celebrate on the December 28th episode, which is the 1,000th episode. Yep. You and I cut it, tuxedos, maybe some champagne.
Love it.
I mean,
can we do it live?
Let's do it live.
I think we should try it live.
Let's do it live. You heard it here first.
Done.
All these amazing things. We
keep
have no idea how to do that, but we're going to make it happen. Tuxedos, champagne, live, $1,000.
Perfect.
Send us those questions, podcast@DIYmoney.org, podcast@DIYmoney.org. Hit us up on the socials, DIY Money Podcast. Blowing up. You did one the other day about interns, getting a job, how to maximize their summer. It was fantastic.
I love it.
It's great. All right, what else is going on? Well, quick break for our wonderful sponsors. Okay, what else is going on in your world?
Well, okay, so I'm very interested to hear, like, your first week of retirement, you're like, now I'm going to play basketball. So there's some things going on in Quint's world, but I have been doing all the sports. Now it's been a lot of fun. I have a group of guys that we're now in a softball league, so we're playing slow pitch softball, which is a lot of fun. We played our first game the other day against the prison wardens, like the prison guards.
Oh, boy.
It was wild, but we won. It was great.
Oh.
And then
I think I might have thrown that one in. Like, oh no, whiffed again. Whoa, I missed that pop fly.
So that was great. And then we play basketball regularly. We have a flag football game coming up. So all the sports. I'm just getting back into the team sports. It's been awesome. It's been a lot of fun. That's good.
No, so my text to you, what Logan's describing is, so way back in the day, I've talked about this on the podcast before. I played a lot of basketball growing up. It was my sport. I decided not to pursue it in college. I was... it was one of these things, if I could not play at a high level, I did not want to play. My biggest offer, I think, was like a small D2 school. I went to visit. There was like 7 people in the stands. Sure. They were like girlfriends and a father or something. I was like, I'm not doing this. And I'll never forget the coach. I went into the locker room. He's like, see that hill out there? We run that hill every morning. You got to be dedicated. And I was fired up. The guy was like, this guy's like Vince Lombardi. Like, I'm jazzed. I go to the game, 7 people. I'm like, I'm not running a hill
every day.
At 6 a.m. in college to play in front of 7 people. So anyways,
and then you went to Keeneland, you're like...
Yeah, I'm like, I'm going to come to Kentucky. Anyways, I'll be a fan and I'll go to the horse races. But, so I played a lot though, pickup league, games, etc. But as I got older, we've talked about this, the brain says, through the leg spin move to the basket, and your body is still at the 3-point line, okay? The ball is off to the side, your broken ankle. I got so mad.
Your hamstrings only work like 25% of the time anyway.
If that. That's a good day. So I was like, this is too frustrating. Linear motion is for me, like running. Like, that's it. That's all that's all I got. The other day, I drove by a basketball court. Yesterday, I drove by a basketball court, and there was these guys playing, and I was like, I should play some basketball. So I messaged Logan. I'm like, are you playing any pickup these days? Like, I'd like to get out and play. Anyways, I messaged you and another guy who had periodically asked me to come to like a church league or something. Crickets on both ends, like, nah, I don't know anybody playing. One guy was like, I can barely walk. So anyways, it probably will not happen. But first week, so it's interesting. I got back from Europe a week and a half ago. That was a blur. Okay. 6 hours. I've been 6 hour time difference for 5 weeks. My nights were days, my days were nights. And I was just trying to get caught up, like mail, doctors, whatever. So this week is the first week that I've sort of been retired. I've learned a couple of things, okay? First thing I've learned, I've got to make a schedule for myself. Have to. Like, I need to put, and I already knew this, we already know this, but I have to have parameters. Like, I'm getting up at this time. I'm going to be in the gym at this time. I'm going to go for a run at this time, etc. And then I need to schedule what a lot of people refer to as deep work, right?
Yep.
There's books that have been written about this, and deep work is very important to me. I've done this in my career. That's how DIY Money was born. That's how other things that have progressed. And deep work is the concept. You all probably understand this already. The phone goes off. The emails are gone. Like you're not distracted. You are working on something, and that's all you're working on. Now I know that sounds like, well, don't we do that every day? No,
Not
we
at
don't
all. No.
ever. I'm on phone calls, looking at emails, sending text messages, checking out the market, blah blah blah. I mean, I'm constantly doing that stuff. Deep work is different. So I've been scheduling deep work for a couple things. One, DIY Money, all the things that we're trying to work on here and things that we're progressing. And then number two, which is quickly moving to the top of my priority list, is Bluegrass Young Investors.
Yeah, it's so exciting.
I'm very excited about that. So much to be done, but it's life-giving. So a lot of deep work, scheduled deep work. And then the third thing, I don't know what number I'm on, I'm making stuff up now, is lunches, coffees with primarily young men that I'm mentoring. And that is now taking on almost a life within itself, which is great.
Absolutely.
And that is very life-giving as well. The final, number 4 or 5, whatever, is I have had to move, this is interesting, Logan, you'll get a kick out of this. I have had to move some accounts that are sort of our income accounts, like these are generating, to a different platform so that I don't look at them every day.
Oh, geez.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
So I'm finding myself too much, right? Because I don't have it. When I'm in the business with you, I'm looking at markets all day long, every day. Like every minute of the day, I know what's going on in the market. Not a second, and I justify that. I'm managing money. We're working on client portfolios. I don't need to do that now at all. Zero. So there are certain accounts I'll look at because I'm trading them, etc. Other accounts, I don't. So I'm moving them out of my purview to get them off of my sort of, sites and seals and so forth. Anyways, yeah. So that's that. There you go. That's
You're
it.
staying busy. I love it.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, let's get to our question.
All right, let's get to our question. We got a great one today from Jessica. Jessica, what do you got?
Hi, I'm a new listener to the podcast and I've been enjoying it so far, so I'm really glad to have found it. I'm 27 years old and now in the beginning stages of my career. I do already have an emergency fund saved up and planning on maxing out my Roth IRA. But now that I'm more comfortable and in a steady stream of income and where I know my budget, I'm wondering if I should be placing any extra fund into my employer 403B or if I should be putting that in a taxable brokerage account. I don't have an employer match, so there's not that extra pull to the 403B. But I do understand that it does have other tax advantages. However, I'm far away from retirement. I'm only in my late 20s, so I'm wondering if it makes more sense to have money that's more accessible in a taxable brokerage account. Thank you.
Okay, Jessica, great question. Thank you so much for sending that in. So it's important, I think it's probably better for us to recap some of these things. Step number 1 in the DIY Money path, track expenses. Step number 2, build the budget. Step number 2, financial moat. That's your emergency fund, your fast cash. Step number 3, debt reduction. Probably sounds like Jessica might be there a little bit, maybe not. She didn't mention about that. Step number 4, wealth development. And that's what we're talking about here. Now, when we talk to people, especially young people, Jessica, about the wealth development stage, we encourage saving at minimum 10%.
Yep.
10%. Now, a lot of us will live on what we call a 10-10-80 plan. We'll give 10, we'll save 10, we'll live on the 80. But at minimum, if you condition yourself to save 10% of your income, you will set yourself up very, very well for retirement. Now, I know you didn't ask about percentages, and we didn't have to rehash that, but it's important to do so. You asked about where to save that. Now, one homework assignment I'm going to give you, Jessica, and this will influence my opinion, and I'll be curious to see what Logan says, is while your 403B is not matching, my curiosity is there a Roth portion of your 403B? A lot of employer plans, 401k, 403Bs, etc., have what's called a traditional and a Roth portion. Now, this is not that uncommon anymore. It used to be pretty new a few years ago. If there's a Roth portion of your 403b, I would encourage that a bulk of your 10%, if not all of your 10% savings, go into that, because that is going to be having a higher contribution limit than your traditional Roth IRA. This may even, you mentioned I'm doing 403b and my Roth, you might do all of this within the Roth 403b portion of your retirement plan. If that's the case, you got what? What's the limit? 24,000, something like that?
24,500.
24,500. So if you're not making $240,000 or $250,000, you could put all of your 10% in there and forego the rest.
Right.
I think that'd be the safest and smartest thing to do. Keep it simple, index, target date, whatever. Okay. Let's say there's no Roth 403b position. Then personally, I don't like it at all. At 27 years of age, I'm going to assume you don't need that massive tax break. I'm going to say, much to our correlation of our last episode, is Roth, great. That's your own traditional or your own individual Roth. And then any other additional monies in a brokerage account.
Right.
Very simple. What say you, Logan?
So I love the 10-10-80 plan. That's what we follow too. I want to revise it a little bit because the 10% that's going towards savings, we believe should be 10% towards retirement savings. That 10 is like we put a bowl over it. We don't even think about it. Like you moving your accounts around, right? That's the portion of the portfolio that's like, that's long-term. That's 40 years from now for this listener. So putting the 10% that's towards retirement, great, set that aside. What we didn't hear in the question was, well, what are we doing for savings for the next car or for the next house or for the next big goal? And you can use brokerage accounts for that, but the 10% goes towards retirement. The rest goes towards saving towards midterm, near-term goals that you're setting aside money for. So with the 10%, I think you're spot on, Quint. Utilizing the Roth wherever you can get it, Roth IRA or Roth 403b. If you can do 10% of your income towards one of those things and make it Roth at her age, brilliant. I think that's really smart. I was reading some statistics the other day. I can't quote them off the top of my head right now, but for folks that start in their 20s, if they save 10% of their income, by the time they get to their mid-60s, it's not all the time, but it's a very high percentage of the time that they're set for retirement. They don't have to worry about it. But if you wait to start saving 10% till you're in your mid-30s, you normally have to save 12 to 15% of your income to be set up in the same way.
And we're saying, this is important, your 10%. So while Jessica's not getting a match, I see this a lot. Somebody says, well, I'm putting in 6 and my company's putting in 4 and that's 10. No.
Yeah.
We're saying your 10%. Anything they match is gravy.
That's
and
right.
I am all for the matches, but we're saying your 10%.
That's exactly right. So your 10%, setting that aside, if you're starting early, you're normally going to set yourself up really well for retirement. So doing 10% and just forgetting about it, setting it aside and forgetting about it is step one. And then utilizing the brokerage account for not only long-term retirement savings, but near-term goals as well. I had someone in the office today that we were talking to that had some cash on the sidelines. They had sold a property, had some extra money, $40,000 in cash that they wanted to do something with. And we talked about all these things, talked about options, talked about Roth IRA, putting more into the Roth 401k, all of that. Come to find out at the very end, they had a $56,000 truck that they just bought and had a $1,200 a month payment. So, Jessica, it doesn't sound like this is you, but I want to encourage people out there, if you are just forgetting about all the DIY money steps, go back, because you can't get to wealth development until you get to that debt payoff strategy. Make sure that you focus on that too, because that's now $1,200 a month that could go towards whatever bucket it is, Roth IRA, Roth 403b, or brokerage account. Don't forget about the debt just because markets have been great for a few years.
That's great. Excellent. I mean, the steps are there for a reason. I mean, they're there for a reason. I know in the beginning of the year, we go through all the basics again, but I'm going to try desperately to infuse the steps into almost every question, because every question falls into one of the categories, one of the 7 steps of the DIY money lifestyle. So again, whether she's doing the 10%, which is really, step number one before anything else, is saying, okay, I got 10% that's gone. It's off the table because I need to set up for retirement. Or you're already doing the 10% and you're in the wealth development phase. The only one caveat, we'll end it here, is saving for things 5 years or less, don't invest.
Right.
I mean, it's very, very important. The markets have been great. I know everybody's like, oh, well, I'll just put it in the market and make money. 5 years or less. If you have something you are spending or saving money for, and you're going to use it in the next 5 years, you do not invest that money. You keep that in a high yield savings and you do not put that at risk. All right, Jessica, great question. We'll send you a $25 Amazon gift card. All she did was hop on her phone, probably did a voice memo, send it to podcast@DIYmoney.org. That's podcast@DIYmoney.org. And now she'll get $25 Amazon gift card. Remember, friends, the secret to wealth is pretty simple. Live on less than you make, invest the rest, and do so for a very long time. Make it a great one.